Welcome back, everyone, to Five Star Sit Down. Devin Henry alongside Jordan Ham here, and then we are now joined by the head coach of the Ottawa Spirit, Mike Nesbitt. Coach, first of all, 7-4 season. What's your offseason plans now?
Well, our off-season plans now are, get in this car and drive around the state of Arizona and see as many coaches as we can see, and jump in and out of all these junior colleges and everybody, and try to find some more good players that fit our program right now. That's the big emphasis right now. Our kids have all taken finals, and last week we're all done, and so they're off for Christmas break and got their Christmas workouts, and that's where we're at right now. Just start pounding the pavement.
I felt like a common theme for me whenever I'd go on a high school sideline was I would see at least a couple of your coaches, assistant coaches, on the sideline. Sometimes I'd run into you as well. Just what was the strategy during the season to go ahead and canvass the entire state and check out a lot of football players here in the state?
Well, that was our big mission when we first started, a year ago, when we had the redshirt class and we just practiced for that one full season. We actually practiced where we would practice in the mornings and have an afternoon staff meeting right before lunch, and then it was on the road every day. And so for 2 straight years, we have been out trying to get into every high school, meet every coach, let every coach know who the guy in their area is, and try to develop that relationship, and make it a personal one, because we didn't have anybody on our staff that had ever coached or really, besides recruiting some of the junior colleges in Arizona, been around the state. And we thought it was really important to let everybody know who we are, what we stand for a little bit, and what our mission was and what we were trying to get done, and introduce those coaches to our football program. A lot of people didn't even know we were starting one. So that was our big thing. And then, we really think that, high school football in the state of Arizona is, it's kind of an untapped deal. Not a few people come in and out of here, off and on, and they spot recruit it. But we really think we can develop a championship football program with in-state talent. And so we're trying to find the best that we can every year.
You just completed your first season with Ottawa. How different do those recruiting conversations now change now that you can show them a product on the field and show how the team has performed? How's that changed the way that you recruit and those conversations you have with players and coaches?
The first conversation a year ago was just, kind of selling them on the vision. They had to have some faith, and the group of guys that we did brought in, kind of had a lot of trust, and, they could kind of see the vision and believe in it. Well, now you've got community support. You've got a whole city that's coming out and watching your team play, and that's filling up the stands and selling the place out. So when our recruits would come on campus for a home game, the best recruiting that you can ever have is word of mouth. And so when parents are standing on the sideline and recruits are on the sideline and coaches are on the sideline, and they're seeing a good product on the field, they're seeing a great game day environment by our community and by our university, then they go home and they talk about it. And I think that is the thing that's helped us the most, is now we actually have a product, and then we've actually been able to put a good product on the field that's successful, plays a brand of offense and a brand of defense and special teams that people want to be part of. And then the City of Surprise has done a great job of getting behind us. And so it's really starting to build kind of that small college, small town feel in a big city. And people are starting to enjoy it. And so I think that's the big thing the conversation is now. It's tangible. You can touch it, you can feel it, you can smell it, you can see it, and it's living and breathing even more every day.
Now, you probably know a thing or two about cities living and breathing when it comes to football. You come from West Texas A&M. That's a huge high school football state, probably a little bit more of a religion than just a way of life, I think, even. But coming from Texas to Arizona, what is unique about local recruiting between Texas and now where you're at in Arizona?
Well, it's really not much different. It really isn't. The recruiting part of it, people want to know that their student athletes and their kids are going to go to a good place. They're going to be taken care of. It's going to be safe. They're going to get a great education, and that there's a chance that hopefully they can be successful on and off the field, academically, socially. I don't think that changes. I think the big thing is it does come down to the relationship. It comes down to the position coaches, the coordinators, myself as the head coach, And then the university showing that it is a family, that we are here to take care of each other, through the good and the bad times of college and the athletic part. But I think that's the most important thing is developing the relationship. And that's where the high school coaches here in the state have done a really good job for us, is just letting us, just basically bombard them on a weekly basis. We see most of our coaches, if not once, twice a week. Throughout the area, and so we're on their campus a lot, and just the friendly faces and them being able to help us and build that relationship has been key.
With the past couple of years, with the announcement that much of junior college football in Arizona will be going away, how do you think that may affect your NAIA program here in the state, as well as a program like ACU?
Well, I think it does help initially. It'll help us initially, being able to find some of the guys the last couple of years that we've recruited that maybe had picked a junior college to go to that hasn't found another 4-year, or a guy that's really wanting to stay in state. But that'll help us a little bit. Other than that, both of our rosters, you can only carry so many guys, and you can only carry so many people. And so there'll be some improved talent, that we'll find that might have gone to the JCs in the past that maybe get missed, that go to a junior college and we end up finding those guys and turning over the rocks and keeping them. But, ultimately the drop in junior college football in the state, I think it's bad for football. I think it's bad for the community. I think there's a lot of kids that are going to get missed or, get left out of a college experience just because they need that year to develop academically and socially, and yet they need that second chance. Two small schools like ACU and us, we can't take them all. And I still think that's going to be a bad mistake on a lot of people's part by not trying to find a way to continuing it and keep it thriving.
And looking at your guys' roster, you guys have athletes like Shamar Moreland and Amari Burks, among others, products from the state of Arizona. How important is it for not just your team, but your school and your community to go out and recruit and get some of these some really good athletes from Arizona?
Well, I think it's critical. I really do. I think that was our ultimate mission when we first started this was, we wanted to be, the West Valley's college football program. We wanted everybody in the West Valley and over here by the White Tanks and even Sun City and Sun City West and the snowbirders that live in our community. We wanted these people to gravitate to our kids and to our team. And I think if you have local high school talent like Shamar and Amari and, and those guys, Marcus Feria, and there's a bunch of them on our team that contributed this year that are local guys, it lets people get into the stadium. It gives them a friendly face. It draws their high school fans into our building to come watch our guys play. And I think that's the lifeblood of our recruiting. We need to have kids from those schools, from Centennial and Fairfax and all these schools, Valley Vista, wanting to come play at our university, where that's an important place for them to go. They're excited to get recruited by us. So they're wanting us to come call them. And once we are doing that on a yearly basis, that changes the whole dynamic, because now, everybody wants to be part of what we're doing, and that's what we're really striving for right now.
And talking about being the West Side's college football program, ACU is moving a little bit closer next year in that Glendale area. Have you thought about what that might do for you guys and how this might even make this rivalry more intense than it already is here in year one?
Well, I think it's great. I really do. I think their success and what they do as a university actually benefits us. And I know it sounds kind of, it sounds crazy, but if you just look at major Power 5 schools, you can take everybody in the Pac-12, the SEC. Once one school improves something, the next school has to improve theirs just a little bit better, because they've got to, compete in the arms race. And it could go from having a bubble on campus to expanding your stadium to, your gymnasium, to your dorms, your student center, whatever your competitor across town's doing to make theirs better. You're always going to try to make yours just a little bit better than theirs. And everybody understands that. Well, if both of our administrations are thinking the way that coaches are, well, then they're going to compete the same way, which is really good, because who ends up benefiting? The kids end up benefiting. The student athlete ends up with just a little bit better experience. And so, you know, I always look at it, the competition's great. You know, competition always makes you stronger, makes you grow, makes you test yourself. And so I was excited to see him get the move and, you know, kind of up the ante in what we were doing. And it also shows that we're putting a good product on the field, too, because, you know, they don't want to get left behind either. And so I think it's a lot of fun.
Coach Nesbitt, thank you so much for your time. Enjoy your offseason and best of luck when 2019 rolls around.
Hey, sounds good. Come check us out in the spring. We'd love to have you guys out for spring ball in March. We'd love to have you around.
Absolutely, Coach.
All right, take care.
You too, Coach. So, of course, another big product coming out with, of course, the community colleges going away. Ottawa University and Arizona Christian, who's now they're moving much closer together than they were, obviously, so it's going to be really that northwest part of the valley. But it's really important now with the community colleges going away that there's going to be football here in at least the Metro Phoenix area.
Yeah, and I think so. And I think it kind of speaks to what this decision for JUCO is and how it's viewed by the football community, because, you know, Ottawa, ACU, they could be immediate beneficiaries to that. They're recruiting a lot of the same guys. And so for Coach Nesbitt to say, this is a bad move, that kind of says something. And I really like what he said. You know, there's always that term, what is it? A rising tide raises all ships. You know, that I think that's how he views if, you know, JUCO's around, if ACU is upgrading their facilities, all of a sudden the competition gets, you know, a little bit tougher. You start to push yourself a little bit more, and then the overall product within the state gets that much better, and then Arizona is considered even more of a football state. So really liked what Coach had to say there on those various topics and kind of how the landscape of Arizona football is going.
Yeah, definitely changing. When we come back, we're going to keep track of exactly where all of our recruits here are jumping around to. Be sure to stick around here on the 5-Star Sit Down.